Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr. This is episode 363 of CryptoBiography, and it's part 2 of the Orb Warmer. It's going to be a little shorter than usual. It's been inordinately busy this week. Not only was it an on week for the Utini cast, but also I am still in the process of moving, as I mentioned in the episode on that a couple of weeks ago. And that process is going to be ongoing for probably... Well, hopefully the main part of it will actually be happening this week, but then we do have through the end of the month to finish up and get things cleaned up, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort, so the next few weeks are going to be a little tough. And in any case, this episode is a little shorter than I like to make them. I try to go for a certain amount of time, and this will be a little shorter than that, but I feel it is long enough to make an episode, so I decided to go for it. Anyway, here we go. First, all the tents that were up were connected to create one large, shady area. This struck Susan as strange because usually when tents were used in the open area, they were well spread out. The number of tents being used would normally have been enough for the entire area during an Art on the Green or some such. Instead, it covered an area maybe twice the size of her family's tiny apartment. She decided it was time to find out what was going on. She got up and walked over to some workers who were finishing up what seemed to be one of the final tents. "What's going on here?" she asked without preamble. They started and looked at her. They didn't say anything for a moment, then, "It's for a mage." "Oh." Susan felt a little chill go down her back. If there was one thing she knew, it was not to mess with mages. Though their society constantly touted its freedom, it was well known that the power was all held by the mages, and getting on the bad side of a mage was a terrible idea. "Thanks," she said, and turned and walked away, trying not to make it too fast. But she didn't get all the way back to the edge of the green before someone called out to her, "Wait, please." She stopped and turned around. A large man, not one of the workers she had talked with, was striding up to her. "Yes," she said, trying to make it sound casual. "Mage Melissa Deacon would like to talk with you." Susan thought about it, but couldn't think of an excuse. "Okay." She followed the large man back to the tents. The workers were both looking intently at her and trying not to look like they were looking at her. The tents were up now, and some tables were being set up with chairs in one part of the tent area. Another part was open, she guessed, for a dancing area. There was a woman sitting alone at one of the tables near the dance floor. No one was particularly near her, but when Susan looked around, she found that there were at least a dozen people at the edge of the tents, all looking inward at the woman she presumed was Melissa Deacon, and at her. Mages could dress as they pleased, so Susan wasn't sure what to expect. She supposed this would do. The woman was about Susan's age, dressed in a simple, but clearly well-made and practically brand-new dress, mid-length and dark orange, with smooth brown leggings underneath it to guard against the cold, and long sleeves. She couldn't be sure with her sitting down, but she seemed to be tall and thin, with a striking face that accented her clear blue eyes. "Are you Melissa Deacon?" Susan asked. "I am. Please, sit," Melissa said, and gestured to the chair next to her. "I saw you were interested in the tents." She drifted off, so Susan felt the pressure of speech. Yes," she said, "I'm Susan. There weren't any public activities today, so I wondered what was up." "Ah, yes," Melissa said. "We're having another one of those dull fundraisers. This one's for leukemia. Say," she continued, perking up a bit, "would you like to stay as my guest? No charge, of course." "Oh," Susan said, nonplussed. "I'm not dressed for a formal event." "I can help with that," Melissa said. "Things are going well with the setup, so I have time before it starts to go shopping with you. My treat." Susan didn't know what else to say. "Okay," she agreed. They went immediately. They got in Melissa's private car and were driven to a part of town Susan had heard about but never visited. Susan was feeling a little embarrassed, but Melissa took her by the hand. "It's okay, Susan. Just relax and enjoy, okay?" "Okay," Susan said. Susan wasn't able to fully relax, but when Melissa had some clothing brought to her, she looked the several outfits over. "Which do you prefer?" Melissa asked. I'm not sure, Susan said, and it was true. They were all lovely, and she hadn't worn anything with the quality of any of them. Also, she had gotten a glance at just one of the price tags at one of the outfits and had realized that it cost more than she made in a month. Tell you what, Melissa said. How about this one? She pointed at a lovely blouse and skirt with a sweater in shades of teal and blue. I think it would look great on you. Susan picked it up. Should I try it on? Of course, and if it fits and you like it, then keep it on for the party. And that's what they did. Susan really liked the outfit. Melissa paid, and they left with Susan's old clothes and a shopping bag. First time clothes of my quality been in one of these, Susan thought. Once they returned to the park, Melissa had Susan give the bag to one of her assistants, and they went back under the tents. They ate a wonderful meal, and Susan watched everyone dance. The music was a little loud for her ears, and she didn't dance herself, but it was fun nonetheless. And that's the end of the story for this week. If you have any comments or questions about this episode or previous episodes, cryptobiography@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or X, or Mastodon, actually. And thanks for listening. Words and Music, copyright 2024. Brandon Starr, all rights reserved. Characters and events are fictional, fictionalized, or satirical.